Good morning, champion. Let me tell you something right now. You didn't wake up by accident today. You didn't survive the night just to scroll, struggle, and settle. You were strategically placed on this planet with purpose, power, and potential. And the first step to unleashing that power is not what you do, but what you say. You were not created to blend in with the crowd. You were created to stand out, to rise above, to lead, and to impact. There is nothing ordinary about you, even if you've been living like you're average. Greatness is not something you chase. It's something you uncover. It's already inside you. The problem is, too many people are waiting for permission to be powerful. They're waiting for approval from people who don't even believe in themselves. But you don't need permission to step into what you were born for. You don't need validation to believe in your vision. When you wake up in the morning and say to yourself, I am created for greatness, you reel in your mind with your mission. You remind your soul that there's more to you than what the world sees. You weren't given another day of life to waste it in hesitation, procrastination, or fear. Today is not just a day, it is a divine assignment. When your eyes opened this morning, it wasn't because your alarm clock worked. It's because your purpose still has work to do. Every hour you breathe is a fresh chance to build, grow, serve, and conquer as it helps us. But most people treat today like it's just another checkbox on the calendar. They live like they have unlimited tomorrows, not realizing that today is the only guarantee they've got. You must wake up every morning and say, today is a gift and I will use it wisely, because how you use your 24 hours will either take you one step closer to your destiny or one step deeper into regret. The words you speak every morning are not just sounds. They are seeds. Every sentence is either planting confidence or planting doubt. Every declaration is either building your future or breaking your focus. When you say things like, I can't, I'm not good enough, or that's impossible, you are giving life to limitations that were never meant to stay. But when you boldly declare, my words create my world, you become intentional about what leaves your mouth. Your words have the power to open doors or close them. They can attract favor or repel it. They can stir faith or fuel fear. The most powerful you carry isn't in your bank account or your resume. It's in your mouth. Speak life. Adversity is not your enemy. It's your training ground. Every obstacle you face is a hidden opportunity waiting to be claimed by someone who refuses to back down. Most people fold under pressure, but champions are formed in the fire. Every delay, every disappointment, every detour is developing something in you that success alone could never teach. When you begin to say, obstacles are opportunities in disguise, you no longer fear failure, you use it. You stop running from resistance and start running through it. Resistance isn't there to destroy you, it's there to strengthen you. Like weight to a muscle, pressure applied to your life is what brings out your power. You were never meant to quit when it gets hard. You were meant to dig deeper, push further, and rise stronger. Life doesn't hand out trophies to the most talented. It crowns those who keep showing up. You may not be the smartest, fastest, or most connected. But if you are the one who refuses to quit, you'll outlast the excuses and outrun the competition. When you declare each morning, I will win because I refuse to quit, you lock in. You shift from emotion to decision. You commit no matter the cost. And when your commitment becomes non-negotiable, your results become inevitable. You must become a person of principle, not preference. When your mindset is built on declarations of truth, not feelings of the moment, you create momentum that doesn't waver. Every morning you have a choice to speak your weakness or speak your worth. You can repeat the voice of your past or release the power of your future, but you cannot do both. The more consistently you speak life over yourself, the more naturally you act in alignment with who you are becoming. Words build patterns. Patterns build habits. Habits build identity. And identity determines destiny. Far too often, people sabotage their progress not because of lack of talent, but because of lack of self-belief. They let their environment define their expectations. They let yesterday's pain write today's script. But when you start each day with intentional declarations, you shatter those chains. You remind yourself that you are not your past. You are your purpose. You're not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become. The shift happens the moment you stop waiting for the day to go right and start speaking as if it already is. There is a war happening every morning between you were and who you're called to be. And the first weapon you choose is your words, not your routine, not your coffee, not your calendar, your words. Speak truth, speak power, speak purpose. The morning is not the warm-up, it's the battleground. And when you show up prepared with these 5 declarations in your mouth, you stop living on default and start leading by design. You didn't just wake up today, you were woken up, and that difference matters. The fact that you opened your eyes this morning is proof that you still have purpose left to fulfill. Yet most people treat a new day like it's just another repeat of the last. They move through the hours like it's just background noise, not realizing that every second is loaded with potential. This day, this hour, this breath, it was given to you on purpose, for a purpose. And if you don't treat it like the gift it is, you'll waste it like it was nothing. Time is the one thing you can never get back. And when you say to yourself, today is a gift and I will use it wisely, you're making the decision to be different, to be deliberate. Every single moment you're alive, you're either investing in your future or borrowing from it. The way you spend today determines whether you'll grow or remain stuck. Most people think success is one big decision. It's not. Success is 1,000 small decisions repeated with intention over time. And those decisions begin the moment you wake up. Will you stay in bed an extra 30 minutes? Will you scroll through distractions before pouring into your goals? Will you complain about the day or command it with purpose? The way you start your day determines how you use your day. And how you use your day determines who you become. Time is the currency of greatness. And yet it's the one thing most people spend carelessly. You don't throw away money, but you'll waste a day like it didn't cost you anything. But it does cost you. Every wasted day is a delayed dream. Every distracted hour is a diluted vision. And while the world tells you to relax, to chill, to take it easy, purpose demands that you arise. Purpose says, you've been given another chance. Don't you dare waste it doing what you did yesterday that didn't serve you. Every second is either building your future or breaking your momentum. The people who rise to the top don't get more time. They just treat time differently. They see time as a sacred resource, not a casual convenience. They get up with a plan, not just a prayer. They wake up with clarity, not confusion. That doesn't mean they don't face obstacles, but it does mean they don't wait for the perfect conditions. They act, they build, they use what they've got right where they are. They say to themselves, this day matters. What I do with it matters. What I say, build, create, and decide today is shaping what I'll be living tomorrow. There are people with half your talent and none of your opportunities doing more than you. Not because they're better, but because they honor the time they have. They don't talk about their dreams. They move on them. They don't live in excuses. They live in execution. And it's not because they're fearless. It's because they've decided that their time is too valuable to waste on fear. Fear can't live in the same space as focus. Fear only survives where vision is blurred. And when you wake up and speak purpose into your day, fear starts losing its grip. You need to understand this. Discipline is not a punishment. It's a privilege. Having a clear plan, sticking to your commitments, doing the hard things first. That's not oppression. That's ownership. That's how leaders live. That's how legacies are built. Waking up with clarity, deciding your actions in advance, guarding your schedule, saying no to distraction. This is how you protect the gift of today. Because if you don't protect your time, someone else will waste it for you. You were not created to be reactive. You were designed to be deliberate. Most people will never live their full potential not because they didn't have it, but because they misused their moments. They traded their time for comfort, entertainment, and other people's agendas. They lived like time was unlimited. It helps us. And they died with dreams unfulfilled. You can't afford to be that person. You can't afford to keep hitting snooze on your calling. The truth is, you only one shot at this day. You will never get it back. You will never be able to repeat it. So if you want to build a different life, a better future, and a legacy that outlives you, it starts by mastering what you do with you today. Your words are not just sounds. They are commands, instructions, and declarations that shape the reality around you. When you open your mouth, you release either power or poison. And too many people walk through life speaking curses over their own future without even realizing it. They say things like, I'm not good enough. I always mess up. Nothing ever works out for me. And then they wonder why their life looks like the very things they keep saying. What you speak consistently, you begin to believe. And what you believe, you start to live. That's why you must be intentional every morning. You must speak what you want to see, even if you don't see it yet. Because your words are not just commentary. The word of prophecy. The world is loud with negativity. From the moment you wake up, you're hit with bad news, fear-based messaging, distractions, and doubt. If you don't decide what voice you will listen to, the world will decide for you. And more often than not, that voice will limit you. That's why you must become your own greatest encourager, your own coach, your own motivator. And it starts with your language. You've got to say things that elevate you, that stretch you, that align with the future you're building, not the past you're escaping. Because when you speak with clarity and conviction, you silence the noise of limitation. Everything in your life begins with a word. You started relationships with words. You've ended jobs with words. You've shaped your mindset, your attitude, and even your habits through the words you use. The problem is, most people use their words like weapons against themselves. They talk themselves out of opportunities. They talk themselves into worry. They speak what they fear instead of what they're fighting for. But you can shift your entire reality when you understand the authority in your mouth. What you speak will either build your future or bury it. And that's why you must guard your mouth like it holds the keys to your destiny, because it does. Words are not harmless. They go into your subconscious and start building frameworks of belief. When you say something often enough, your mind begins to accept it as truth, even if it started as a lie. If you tell yourself every morning that you're stuck, that you'll never change, that nothing works out, your brain will start seeking proof of those beliefs. It will start filtering your reality to match your internal declarations. But if you wake up and declare, my words create my world, and you speak life, favor, progress, and clarity, then your mind will go to work aligning your actions with those truths. And eventually, your life starts to look like the words you consistently speak. The power of life and death is in the tongue, and that's not just a poetic phrase. It's a principle. Speak defeat and you'll live it. Speak delay and you'll attract it. But speak breakthrough and it will start moving toward you. You have the ability to change the atmosphere of a room with your words. You can shift the energy of your environment, raise the level of your thinking, and reset the course of your day just by choosing to speak on purpose. Words can create confidence or confusion, faith or fear, direction or distraction. Every word is a seed, and every seed grows something. The question is, what are you growing? This is why you can't afford to talk like everybody else. You can't afford to use casual language about serious things. You can't joke about being broke or tired or worthless because your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between sarcasm and sincerity. If you say it enough, it becomes real to you. You must take authority over your mouth like your future depends on it, because it does. Every single morning before the world gets a chance to name your day, you must name it yourself. You must speak clarity, energy, focus, strength, and vision. Not because it's magic, but because it's you, discipline, E. Because it trains your mind to think like a leader, not a follower. When you master your words, you begin to master your direction. No one drifts into greatness. No one accidentally fulfills their calling. It happens when you get intentional with what you say, what you think, and how you act. Speaking truth every morning is like setting the GPS for your soul. You're telling your mind, your emotions, your habits, and even your circumstances where to go. You're taking responsibility for the tone of your day before the world even has a chance to define it for you. That's power, and that's ownership, and that's how transformation begins. Your words are your first strategy each morning, not your schedule, not your to-do list, not your emails, your words. They unlock clarity. They initiate belief. They establish direction. And the more consistently you speak what aligns with your purpose, the more you train your brain to operate from faith instead of fear. What comes out of your mouth is not just a reflection of your thoughts. It becomes the architect of your future. If you want to see change, start by changing the way you speak when you wake up. Your words are not filler. They are fuel. Fuel for purpose, fuel for progress, fuel for power. It helps us. People look at problems and think they are being punished, when in reality, problems are often the greatest gifts wrapped in resistance. What we call obstacles are often the very stepping stones that build our strength, character, and resilience. Challenges are not a sign that something is wrong. They're often the confirmation that you're on the edge of something right. When you wake up and tell yourself, obstacles are opportunities in disguise, you begin to see life differently. You stop reacting with fear and start responding with faith. You understand that nothing is working against you. It's all working for you if you choose to learn from it. Resistance is not a signal to retreat. It's a signal to arise. Think about it. Muscles don't grow without resistance. Neither does your mindset, your leadership, or your vision. Every time you face something hard and choose not to give up, you're building capacity. You're expanding your ability to handle more, to carry more, to lead more. The very thing that feels like it's trying to break you is often the very thing building the version of you that's strong enough to carry your future. But if you keep running from pressure, you'll keep forfeiting progress. Growth is not birthed in comfort. It's developed in the middle of the storm. It's easy to stay motivated when everything is going well. It's easy to smile when the doors are opening, the calls are coming in, and the wins are stacking up. But your next level will not be built in the easy seasons. It will be forged in the fire. The hard days are where true champions are formed. Anyone can move forward when it's sunny, but who keeps showing up when it rains? Who keeps believing when there's no evidence yet? Who keeps building when the world is watching, waiting for them to fall? The answer is the one who sees obstacles not as walls, but as mirrors, reflecting who they're becoming through the process. Obstacles reveal your belief system. When something doesn't go as planned, your reaction tells you more about your mindset than your circumstances ever could. Do you panic or do you pivot? Do you shrink or do you stand taller? When you've trained yourself to see setbacks as setups, as it helps us, you no longer need things to go your way to know you're still winning. You trust the process because you've shifted your perspective. You realize the delay might be developing something in you that success couldn't. You understand that rejection is sometimes just redirection, and every time you refuse to quit, you're building evidence for your own faith. The world teaches people to avoid hard things, to look for shortcuts, hacks, and instant gratification. But shortcuts never lead to significance. They skip the development that makes the success sustainable. As it helps, you don't want an easy win. You want a solid foundation. And the only way to build that is to go through what most people avoid. You must start seeing every hard thing not as an interruption, but as an invitation. An invitation to grow, to lead, to become. When you begin to approach problems with that mindset, you stop feeling cursed and start recognizing the blessing hidden inside the burden. Pressure is not there to crush you. It's there to shape you. Like heat to gold, it removes what's impure and brings out what's real. The more pressure you face, the more potential is being pulled out of you. If life feels heavy, it's because you're carrying something that matters. You're being trusted with weight. And trust always comes with tests. But every time you show up, every time you lean in instead of leaning out, you prove to yourself that you can carry what you've been called to. And once you prove it to yourself, it helps us. You no longer need approval from others to validate your strength. You don't have to love the pain, but you do have to learn from it. Every experience you survive adds to your wisdom, your voice, your authority. What you're going through right now might make sense yet, but one day it will become your story, the very story that unlocks breakthrough for someone else. But you can't offer healing to others from words you haven't allowed to become wisdom. That's why your mindset about problems matters. Your growth is not just about you. It's about everyone who's going to be impacted by the way you rise through what tried to bury you. Obstacles are not optional in a meaningful life. They are inevitable. But suffering is optional because suffering is what happens when we resist the process. When we think things are supposed to be easy. When we forget that diamonds are formed under pressure and legacies are built through fire. When you get up each morning and say, obstacles are opportunities in disguise, you stop treating hardship like an enemy and start welcoming it as a mentor. And when that shift happens, you don't just go through challenges. You grow through them. It helps us. There's something powerful that happens when you look in the mirror each morning and say, I am becoming the person I was created to be. It doesn't matter how far you feel from your goals or how many mistakes you made yesterday. What matters is that you recognize the direction you're headed. Identity shapes behavior, and too many people are trying to change their habits without first shifting their identity. You don't just need better actions, you need a clear image of who you are becoming. When you speak identity over your life, you begin to live from a deeper place. You're not chasing success to prove your worth. You're building from the understanding that you already have value. When you start your day by declaring who you are becoming, you begin to move with intentionality. You stop reacting to life and start creating it. People without identity wake up waiting to see how the world will define them, how their environment will affect them, how their feelings will lead them. But when you know who you are, you don't need outside validation to take inner action. You don't need applause to take a step. You don't need clarity about everything. You just need confidence in who you're becoming. That confidence is not arrogance. It's alignment. It's knowing you're not here by accident, and every day is a step into the fuller version of you. Becoming doesn't happen in a day. It happens daily. It's built in the quiet, ordinary moments where no one is watching. It's built when you choose discipline over distraction, when you choose to show up instead of shutting down, when you choose purpose over pleasure. And you're not becoming someone new, you're becoming who you already were before fear, doubt, and failure tried to convince you otherwise. That's the truth most people miss. Your potential isn't outside you. It's within you, waiting to be activated. And you activate it when you speak life, when you walk in purpose, and when you align your actions with the identity you declare. Too often, people let their past define their identity. They say, I've always been this way, or I never get it right, or I'm just not that type of person. But those aren't facts. They're agreements you've made with limitation. Every time you repeat them, you reinforce a false identity. But when you shift the narrative and say, I am growing, I am learning, I am evolving, you begin to break free from those mental chains. As it helps us, you start making choices that align with the future you want instead of the past you survived. Identity is not a prison, it's a path, and you get to choose the direction it leads. You don't have to feel like that person yet to declare that you're becoming them. Growth isn't about feeling ready. It's about committing to the process, even when it's messy, unclear, or uncomfortable. Every successful person you admire didn't start with clarity. They started with commitment. They made a decision that their past would not write their future, that their pain would not dictate their potential, that their daily choices would reflect their A vision, not their L history. And they reminded themselves of who they were becoming until their actions, mindset, and results aligned with that truth. There's power in repetition. What you say to yourself every day becomes what you believe, and what you believe becomes what you act on. So when you say, I am becoming more focused, more disciplined, more powerful, your brain begins to search for ways to align your behavior with that belief. That's not hype, that's neuroscience. Your subconscious is always listening, always adapting to what it hears most often. And if you keep speaking from fear, you'll keep living from fear. But if you speak from identity, if you keep telling yourself who you're becoming, you'll eventually begin to live from that place. Becoming is alignment, not perfection. You're not supposed to get it all right. You're supposed to stay on the path. Some days you'll feel on fire, and some days you'll feel like quitting. But identity is the anchor that holds you steady. It reminds you that you're not just building goals. You're building EU, and every challenge, every setback, every failure is not a reason to stop. It's a reminder of how badly you want it. That's why you must speak identity F before the results show up. Because your words are not a reaction to your current state. They're instructions to your future self. When you live from the mindset of becoming, you stop being intimidated by time. You understand that greatness is not rushed. It's revealed through consistency. You don't compare your journey to others because you know that what you're building is yours. You don't need their timeline, their approval, or their pace. You just need to keep showing up as the version of you that you're committed to becoming. And every morning when you say, I am becoming the person I was created to be, you're not just motivating yourself, you're activating a vision that will grow stronger with every step you take.